If we want to win, we must at least be willing to put up a fight. Go and tell somebody, if you want to win, you got to at least be willing to put up a fight. All this stuff about they won't let me, that's an excuse. Sometimes you got to find a way to do what your heart and what your life and what your purpose is calling for. Listen, don't let it be said that you won't put up a fight, because you don't deserve to win if you're not willing to fight. Go on, look at somebody and say, you don't deserve to win if you're not willing to fight. I'm not through messing with y'all. Hold on for a few minutes here. Because for most of us, and when we look at it, all God gives, as he gives us victories of mercy and grace, he does it for us for a particular reason. He does it until we learn how to fight for ourselves. And understand, then he picks what fights we should be in. Then there are some, he says, stand still and just see the salvation. Some of them, he said, take your stuff up. You got to fight this particular battle. You got to understand. He put his disciples in two postures. One time he sent them out, told them, don't take nothing with you. Then he says, I'm getting ready to leave. You better get your stuff because you're going to have to fight. The deal is that you have to know what you need for the battle that is ensuing in your life. Understand, I did not say that you would not be victorious in some things. All I'm saying is that God will not give you the victory fully and fluently experienced until you do something that indicates that you're willing to be a part of the winning that you're going to experience in your life. You have to make up that in your mind. Here's another fact. Just because you're not willing to fight for your future does not mean that you'll be able to avoid your responsibility to try to survive your way through it. Just because you say, I don't have to fight, doesn't mean that you're not going to get in the battle. Look at somebody and say, you still going to have to do something with what God has given you. So there's some stuff, that you didn't ask for that just came to your life. There's some stuff that dropped on your table that you would have said, listen, I don't want none of that. But God has a way of giving you what's attached to the future he's literally ordained for you. And he puts us all in this posture. And my statement to you is that it would be horrible to go through so many things and literally miss the major benefit in it and the benefit for it that God had for you. The reality is that no matter if God sends you into a fight, that God always helps us manage our needs. Come on, talk to somebody, say he'll manage your needs through it. I don't care if he got to take you a second at a time, a minute at a time, an hour at a time. If he got to give you some downtime, he'll put you in a place where you can get yourself together just so that he can give you an opportunity to regroup and come to a place and see what he's getting ready to drop next into your life. Somebody ought to thank him because he didn't let stuff just hit you all at once. But he gave you a chance that even though you got knocked down, he gave you a chance to get yourself together. Some of us are here today because he gave us time to get ourselves together. My God, some of y'all had to get yourself together financially. Some of you had illness, had to get yourself together based on that. Some of you had family issues, you had to get yourself together. But he does not stop the blows, but what he does, he gives you the power to regroup and get up and survive what you find yourself going through. And if you survived anything, my God, that you can look at your life and say, I couldn't have done this myself, but God keeps making a way for me. You ought to be praising him like you lost your mind and say, if it had not been for the Lord, my God, on my side. I know the song say, where would I be? But the scripture says, when my foot almost slippeth, thy mercy, O Lord, held me up. The hymn that says, from sinking sand, he lifted me with tender hands. He lifted me from shades of night to plains of light. I'll praise this. Somebody got to praise in him. I'll praise his name because he didn't lift me up in it. He lifted me up out of it. Somebody talk to your neighbor and say, I got lifted out of it. There's some stuff, if it had an inkling of who I was and what I would still be holding me down. But thanks be unto God, which giveth us the victory through Jesus Christ. Our Lord. Somebody said, just tell your neighbor, I'm glad to be out of it. I'm glad to be. No, y'all don't act like y'all don't act like y'all glad. Y'all act like y'all glad. Y'all act like y'all glad. My God. And the deal with this is that Isaiah 26:12 gives us a clear scripture that talks about it. That, Lord, thou wilt ordain peace for us, for thou hast wrought all our works in us. Psalm 68:28 says it this way: thy God hath commended thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought in us. And so he helps you work through the stuff you find yourself having to deal with. A healthy believer's perspective always says that God's ability is stronger than our needs. Won't you talk to somebody? Just tell somebody God's ability is stronger than our needs. Therefore, then, to avoid a negative personal experience, there are times we must parallel our need over against the ability of our God. When our need is centered, hear me, our concentration is disturbed. We anxiously approach every day in emergency mode, as a candidate looking for God to work a miracle in things that we could do with a little more personal concentration and effort. The deal is that when our God is our center and not our need our center, our perspective changes. It shifts our opinion from I have need, so I need God, into because I have God, I'm not shaken by my need. Philippians 4:19 basically says, but my God self-supply. Oh, so you got to have your mind made up that he can do what he said he can do in your life. Shall supply all our need according to his riches in glory. Learn how to measure and treasure your moments and stop turning the great things down that God sends your way. Don't struggle so much with your own blessing. Come on, look at somebody and say, don't struggle so much with your own blessing. God is too good for you to struggle so much with your own blessings here. Just receiving an undeserved blessing can be confusing when you're not disciplined in your choices and you don't know what to do with your blessing. But if you're not ready to move forth, you got to be careful, because what I gave you guys at the beginning of this year, if you're not ready to be moved forward, watch out. You may end up being left behind. Because this is a moment of acceleration. Somebody say acceleration. We know that God is moving. He's moving quickly. He's moving dynamically. He's moving specifically. And because even here in our church, as we talk about a year of acceleration, we're dealing with this thing that is going to be always the way God, when he blesses and moves and he confirms and sets up and he confounds the enemy and he blesses us with conclusions, that it's always going to be faster than you think it could have been. It's going to be more than you can handle, and it's going to be greater than you expected. Faster than you think, because there's some quick results. Somebody said quick results are coming. Yeah. Some of you already been having some quick results happen in your life. It's happening quick. You're already like, wow, what's going on? Things are going real quick. More than you can handle. Multiple opportunities. Some stuff you didn't have to apply for in your life. It applied for you. Greater than you ever expected, constantly stretching our capacity. God gives us acceleration because it advances when we embrace our divine connectivity, which means that for it to maintain efficiency, it does three things you have to participate with. You got to learn fast, you got to govern smarter, and you got to keep your integrity. Mm-hmm. Let me say all three of them. I need you to write those down. You got to learn fast. You got to govern smarter, and you have to keep your integrity. Because just because you get blessed and because God blesses you quickly and because he puts much on your table does not mean that you get a chance to step away from your integrity and say, listen here, I got to do this a different way. If God blesses you, you got to make sure as he blesses you, you handle it the way he wants it to handle it. If you have neglected or procrastinated or been embarrassed by something too long, refuse to keep accepting it as your testimony. Mm-hmm. Make up your mind, I'm not living in my past. I'm not allowing what kept me down keep me from moving forward. It's part of this because God trains us to trust his love by how we learn to live in love among each other. He gives you some people because he gives you some people who going to work with you. He gives you some people because you got some people who going to just stand with you, but they ain't going to do nothing. And you got some other people who not going to work with you, but they going to antagonize the heck out of you. So while you're looking for something to get done, you got to deal with those people so you can get to where you have to get next. But don't get mad about what you have to deal with. Do what he called you to do. Come on, tell somebody, do what he called you to do. Yeah. That's what it's all about, because when we step into this framework, we understand that part of our obligation is to start something. Somebody say that in the room, start something. Acceleration means to propel, to speed up, to step up, to increase rate or velocity. But to do it, a vehicle that can transition in time is necessary. You have to be able to transition in time. You are a catalyst. That's what you are. You're a catalyst. You're part of an accelerant whose purpose is to initiate, is to eventually cause something to become an effect. That's what you're all about. You are not the ingredient, but you have the authority to release the ingredient. That's what a catalyst is. That means that you have something that you can do. You can pray for somebody and they get healed. You can talk about the goodness of God and somebody find him in their lives. You can speak about his excellence and good things can come to you from that. Understand, you are a catalyst. God puts you places where he wants to see stuff take place. Look at your neighbor and say, you are God's action item. Go and tell him. He places you right where he wants some stuff started for his purpose. He puts you right where something can happen. He puts you there. Some stuff get on your nerve because you're supposed to help change it. My God. You look at your neighbor and say, you're the catalyst. You're talking about what they should be doing. Well, look at them. That's what, no. You got to do it. Your life depends on it. Let me just say that again. You have to do something because your life depends on it. You're a catalyst, like yeast is to the bread. Yeast is not the dough, but if you release it in the dough, it's going to expand the structure. You got to make something grow around you. Talk to your neighbor and say, things got to grow around you this year. You cannot be sitting there flat like you were last year. You cannot let things just die and dry up around you. You got to shift. You got to change stuff. You got to involve. I don't care if you have to ignite it or you have to do it. You got to do it here. God sent you here to turn loose things declared in heaven that are suspended in eternity awaiting the release in the earth.